What is up, YouTube? It's your boy John and Do, and I'm coming back at you with another Baseball Superstars 2022 video, my boys. Today we are fin to update the actual tier list that I made way back in the day for the batters. We're also going to do a pitching tier list. When we do that, it's up to you guys. We are 2 subs away from actual 200 subs to this day. So whenever we get 200 subs, I'm going to schedule a stream and we're going to do a UR tier list for your pitching, my boys. So we're going to make that happen. We need 2 subs to make that happen, my boys. So if you are not subscribed, please subscribe today, and I appreciate it, my boys. But let's go ahead and look at the batting list. A lot has changed, and we're gonna update this tier list according to some of the changes. Just some people are not in meta, even though they have good stats. I want to make sure I give y'all the most accurate information according to the actual meta. Now I'm gonna update this according to the meta that we know as well, because the Shining Angels is going to get buffed, and the buff is looking like it's going to be sweet. So I'm going to update it according to the predictions. If I'm wrong with predictions, I'll re-update it right after Shining Angels, but I think I'm going to be spot on, my boys. So we're just going to get this started right now. Now, Ennis, she's a really good trainer, but she's just not M tier because of meta, my boys. So we're going to drop Ennis a tier to R tier. Still a really good trainer. I mean, she is an amazing trainer. Like, I'm telling you, she is very, very good, but she's just not meta. There's no decks to really use her in anymore. She's just there. So Cammy's gonna stay the same. Kai's gonna stay the same. They are just incredible trainers. Mav is gonna stay the same. Incredible trainer. You should definitely aim for these guys. They are fantastic. Hyper, still really, really good. Personally, my favorite trainer in the game right now is Hyper because of how good she is. She's going to stay right there in M tier as well. My girl Michaela is going to M tier now, my boys. With the Shining Angels buff coming, this is going to make Michaela really, really good. Must-have trainer for Shining Angels. She is already amazing with the placement, the training reward, all that she has. And in Shining Angels, she gets the special training for week 3, 5, and 7, making her just freaking amazing. Now that scenario will be able to be played again, it's going to boost Michaela right back to M tier, my boys. Definitely a trainer that you should want to get and focus on if you can. Anubis. I'm going to drop Anubis down to actually S tier, my boys. Anubis is still really good. It's not a bad trainer. He does have like the worst super skill in the game for a batter, so you don't want his super skill. But he's just, I mean, he's good and he adds to things, but he's definitely not a focal point trainer anymore. MU is not good anymore, so he's just not a focal point. So that's why he's dropping the tier. He's still good, but Britcher, we're gonna drop Britcher all the way down to freaking A tier. And I've even been thinking about putting her in B tier, my boys, but I think A tier is fair for her. She's still a good trainer. She has the worst costume super skill in the game, my boys. I kid you not. Like, Mav and Cammy have better super skills than her costume super skill. Britcher has the worst costume super skill with a plus 638, my boys. It is terrible for a super skill. She does bring the best bat in the game, which is why I still boosted her to A. She still has the game reward. She still has the plus 10% on the special training. So there is some good stuff for her, but her super skill is terrible. She's still usable, but you just don't find her in many decks outside the first base deck anymore. Loki's gonna stay the same. Great trainer. If you have her, she's really good in 2 decks. Like, she's a really good trainer. Flamus is gonna stay the same as well. Flamus is not changing. She's still really good. Helga, staying the same. She's still really, really good. Nox is staying the same as well. Still good trainer. King Tiger, we're moving to M tier. And the reason why King Tiger is also getting moved to M tier, King Tiger has the best super skill in the game. It does come at a cost for the event, but it is the best super skill in the game and will raise your player rating by so much if you are able to get that super skill. He's a great trainer to have. He has really good events if you're lucky. Now, if you're running the catcher, his events are freaking amazing because of, you know, you're going to get always a good discount. But running another position, you have to get very lucky because King Tiger, I think like out of all his abilities, like half of them are catching abilities. So they will only help a catcher. But if you are lucky in other runs, his discounts can help you and they are amazing. But King Tiger, definitely M tier. Dion is going to stay the same. I personally don't have Dion, so but he still has placement. He has facilities up. Like he's a good trainer. I don't think he should change as well. It's just they will probably be M tier. Him and Ennis will probably be M tier if they had a great scenario that you can actually run them in. Right now they're just not meta, and that's the reason why they're not M tier. They're just not meta. Tabasco, I'm real iffy on. I'm gonna keep her in R tier for now, but she is borderline M tier. Very good trainer, has a very good super skill, very good costume events as well. She's really good, like borderline M tier. I'm gonna keep her in R tier, but she is borderline M tier. Nothing's gonna change with Kel. He's still S tier. Honestly, probably should drop him a tier. Probably should drop him down to A tier. And that's what we're gonna do. Like, dude's he's just not really usable. You can't use him in a right fielder deck, but you really can't use him outside of anything but that right fielder deck. He's very limited, doesn't bring gear. He does have training reward all, but he doesn't have any placement or anything else to add along with it. He's just very limited to me. Definitely gonna put him out there in A tier. Monkey King, I'm actually gonna keep in S tier still. He could use a drop as well, but I think S tier is still fair for him for what he brings to the table. He's still a duel, and he has that. But said it's actually gonna get moved up to R tier now, my boys. The only reason she's getting moved up is because of that Shining Angels buff, my boy. Shining Angels buff is gonna make her somewhat good again. Does she still have problems? Yes, Bassett has a lot of problems, but those problems will be overlooked once you are running her in Shining Angels and she's giving you that nice, good dual and intellect special trainings with Michaela or Rachel. So she's definitely gonna be R tier once that buff does happen. We're gonna keep R in S tier. She's still limited. She's actually not that bad of a trainer. She's probably borderline S and R. But she's not ran in many decks. You're only gonna run her basically in center fielder deck. If you do a right fielder, you might run her in a right fielder deck as well. But I don't know. Just to me personally, I'm gonna keep her right here in S tier. Saru, I really wish they would come out with a property trainer to buff this guy. Saru's actually going to drop a tier. I'm going to put him right here in A tier. And then I'm going to bring him right back to S tier.
Got him!
Alright, my boy. So here's why. Saru, you can't use him in any decks besides third base. Like, you're not running this guy anywhere else. Let's just be perfectly honest. He's limited to that one and only deck. The only reason he comes right back to S tier is because he has a costume now. And his super skill isn't as crappy anymore. We will find use for him with the Shining Angels buff, but it's still just going to be for that third base deck. It would be nice if we could have like an Insaru with the property trainer, but we don't know what that system is going to look like yet at this time, so I can't buff him according to that when I don't know. And MU is still so bad where he can't get a buff off of that. So I think keeping him in S tier is probably the best thing for him right now. He's a borderline A to S tier. Rachel's getting a buff. So based on Rachel's buff, we're gonna move Rachel right up there to R tier. Now it doesn't matter which buff that they give Rachel. Now I personally want them to give Rachel training reward all, but they may not do that. They may end up giving her the facilities up, so she may end up getting like a plus 15. regardless of what buff they give to Rachel, it's a buff. It's going to help. Buffing Shining Angels buffs Rachel and Michaela and Basit and Hyper. So they get buffed out automatically from that scenario just getting better. But also, physically going through and buffing Rachel is going to be so amazing and make her so much better than what she is. So Rachel definitely will be R tier. She might even be M tier, my boys. It just depends on if they give her Training War All or if they give her something else. If they give her Training War All, I'm coming right back and pin Rachel right there in M tier. But for now, we'll place her in R tier. Roy is also getting a buff. Now, whether his buff is going to put him in R tier or S tier, I don't know yet, because I don't know what they're doing to my boy Roy yet. I don't know what they're doing. They might buff Roy and make him R tier. They might buff Roy and make him S tier. It depends. I'm going to put him in S tier for now. But remember, he's borderline SR. We don't know if they're going to give him plus 15 mental for like plus facilities, or we don't know if they're going to give him a Training War All. If they give Roy Training War All, Roy is going to be so amazing. That would make the catcher deck that I'm working on so insane. But we'll see what they end up doing at the end of the day. Caroline, my boys. Caroline is going to stay where she is. Even with the buff for Shining Angels, Caroline, like, my boys, I want to say this too about Caroline. I'm not a Caroline hater. If you go way back into my videos, man, I was so big on Caroline. I actually made a video about Try Caroline. This is before, we had Development Mastery, where it made gold trainers to me absolutely worthless. But Caroline she suffers from being a gold trainer. You really can't find use for her. Like the decks that we're going to be running for center fielder is going to just be with Aura and Michaela, and that's it. I would love to use Caroline, but she's not going to be usable until a property trainer comes out. So even with the Shining Angels buff, I'm going to go ahead and move Caroline down to that A tier. She's just not usable to me. I just don't think she's usable at all right now at this time. Maybe later in the future she will be usable and she will be good, but right now she's just not. My girl So Young got a buff before, and that buff actually moves her to that R tier. Even though she's not meta, she is so much better than she ever been. She's a mental trainer with placement, with facilities up. I mean, I have to put her at least where Dion is. We have to at least. And that's right there in R tier. So she is really good. She just still doesn't have a place yet. Once she has a place, she'll be a lot better. And maybe with the new scenario, you may see where they do something with left fielder there, with mental and who knows what on left fielder. So it's something to keep an eye on. But So Young right now, she's R tier, might even move up to M tier, just depending on what happens in the future. Luna, she is staying where she is. Luna is still bottom of the barrel. Don't use your diamonds for her. If you get her on the ticket, hey, so be it. And you could just save her up until you get enough for the diamonds. Maybe with the property system, Luna may be good again, but right now she's trash, my boys. Nina, trash, my boys. She's not usable. She is what she is. Just take it from there. Clavina, trash, my boy. Not usable. I mean, you can use her in one of them right fielder decks, like I said. That's it. But she's still trash, my boys. Maybe the property system will change that. And Caroline joins them at the bottom as well as being trash, my boys. Those four trainers you just don't want. Britry and Kel, like, you don't really. Britry, I'm going to be a little bit more fair. I'm going to move Britry back to S tier.
What?
While she's not A tier, I will say she's still usable. She still has a costume. She still has the best bat in the game. But her super skill is killing her, my boys. Like, I mean, it's the worst super skill in the game. And if you don't take her super skill, she gives you an event called Dismiss, which will drop your move for not taking her super skill. And she has the worst super skill in the game. How much sense does that make, my boys? The worst costume super skill in the game. But to be fair, I have to move Bridger to at least S tier. She does have her issues, but I wouldn't say she's the bottom of the barrel. Monkey King, Aura, Anubis, Saru, Roy, perfect right here in S tier. Some of them is in between the S tier and R tier. Still great trainers. Just not trainers you should really focus on. But in the R tier, your biggest bang for your bucks in the R tier is going to be Tabasco. Like I said, she's that in between. Luther as well. He'll help you tremendously with that left fielder deck. You know, the Shining Angels buff is going to change so much for Rachel and Bassett, which is why they sitting right there right now at this time. M tier, these are your must-have trainers. When that banner comes, go ahead and get them. You don't need to hesitate. You don't need to wait. I was a little skeptical on King Tiger, my boys, but after using him, I had to buff him, my boy. I'm sorry I didn't have King Tiger in M tier to begin with. King Tiger is freaking amazing. When he does have his downs, I will say. And his super skill is a stamina down. He also has a mood event that's a downer. But the guy can bring so much to the table and everything is going right, which is why it wouldn't be right for me not to pick King Tiger in M tier. Michaela with the buff to Shining Angels, definitely M tier, no questions asked. So you'll have your M tiers from Michaela and Hyper, and those two alone will bring you so much. And then add in Bassett and Rachel, oh my, that's a nice quad, my boys. You know, and then the rest is just like your Summoner Wars guys, you know, from Kai and Cammy. I mean, we already know how great Kai, Cammy, and Maville, and even King Tiger and freaking Summoner Wars. So, I mean, enough said there, right? You know, Tabasco is really great there as well. Like I said, she's borderline M. But that's going to be it for my tier list, boys. Let me know if you guys agree. If you don't agree, wanted to go ahead and give a little update to it because I know we haven't touched this in a while. But we're going to be touching some tier lists for some time now, my boys, because I think we need to keep these things a little updated depending on how everything changes. So this is it for now. If we get any more buffs or any changes, or if Shining Angels comes out and it's not as great as we use, then I'll change it accordingly as well. So with that said, my boys, that's going to be it for today's video. You guys have a good one. Make sure y'all stay safe out there. Peace, my boys.